Yeah, I got value area low over the sesh at 313.
Yeah. Pretty
So
cool.
I reckon we'll probably retest that level.
Yeah. Probably not wrong. Man, this guys, I'm gonna give it like 2-3 minutes anyways for people to come in. But Johnny, while you're on this marketing thing, I had some pretty
Okay.
cool breakthroughs with it, right? And so I was showing them, how I have all this stuff posting for like Facebook, Instagram, like auto right there. But
Yeah.
I created a video creator section. It literally
Yeah.
tells you, so it's tied into my AI now, and so it tells me literally what I should do, where I should send it, the title I should put it as, what the hook is, what type it is, right? Short, whatever.
Mm.
It literally gives me a script with a teleprompter, and so when I'm recording the video, it'll teleprompt me across. Pretty sick. And then I could save that, and it goes into my videos. And then I have here on the image one, that's pretty cool. Is all I do is I have an image prompt if I don't want to use the tokens for the API. I just take the image prompt and I'll show you real quick. And then 1 second. And then I just paste it into my AI. And then I was kind of doing this while I was working. So it's kind of
Mm.
cool because I just paste it in so I don't have to pay the API fee, right? And then see, now I'll just create the image. And then I just sit on the side, and then I'll want to show you this part's pretty cool. And then, guys, I'm letting people come in, and then we'll look at where we're at. But we just had a deep drop from a kind of a 3-tier setup, right? So we had drop one, drop two, and then it's likely to chop here anyways. So we don't want to take anything quite yet, but um, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I linked in the AI, right, so I can actually ask it questions, and I can have it look to optimize, you know, optimize my calendar, look for the next suggested stuff, like, and so when this image is done, right, so it's still making it. All I have to
Mm.
do, it's kind of cool because um, as I'm working, right, when the image creates, because that way I don't have to pay for the image, right, to be created. Because I don't mind if it is creating the image like this while I'm working, right? But look at the image it creates. And so all I do, this is for like a Facebook feed or something. All I have to
Yeah.
do from here is once it's done, which is just about there. Let me click it. It's running.
Just drag and drop it in the box.
Oh, I don't even have to drag and drop. Watch, it's so cool. I don't know why I'm getting that like slow from the images. Usually it's pretty fast lately, but
Probably because you're streaming as well.
yeah, probably. And
Mm.
so let's see. So it's almost done. So watch. Then I hit. All I do is I hit download, and then what's cool about it is all I have to do is take the headline here. I copy it, and then I paste it and do .png. So it basically saves the image to the title. And then all I have to
Yeah.
do here is assign image. Let's see. Oh wait, shoot. Hold on. I might not have changed it to my. Yeah, I didn't change it to the folder. I had it
So easy.
I had it.
So
I had it
easy, isn't it?
designated to. I already had it designated to go to the folder, but somehow it changed. I think it's because I was moving stuff around. Hold on, let me get my TikTok out of the way. Okay, let me designate it to that folder here. Okay. .png. Save. Assign matching image. So once it's designated to the folder, it's obviously got to go to the folder, right? But I have a way on the download to it designates to go to it, and then
Yeah.
it assigns it. It already puts everything all green, right? Now here's what's cool is like it'll give me a pretty good thing there. I can actually I don't have it auto do it. I can improve it with AI. So it'll look at it and it's going to see if there should be any modifications based on changes or whatever, which is really cool. And then it tells me what it did. I hit apply, right? So you can see it's a little more detailed. It already like chooses the next slot, and then I schedule it.
Happy days.
And there it goes. And it's gone. And then that's my thing. And I just literally, as I'm working, I just keep throwing them in. I don't know, it's pretty cool. But I love the teleprompter thing too, because like a lot of times it's hard to figure out what content to do, even so. And so it literally tells you what to do, how to do it. It's pretty cool. So almost there. But anyways, let's get into TA, guys.
That's good.
It's so fun to play with, but it's such rabbit holes, man. I feel like I'll stay up forever. Like, let me do this one more thing. Ooh, that's cool. Let me do this one more thing. Ooh, that's cool. Well, let me do this one more thing. It's always that one more thing. All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining. Let's take a look. So, those that are joining in just now, let me move that so I can see. All right. So what we were looking at on the pre-market, we are in an interesting range, as all of you know, because our larger structure trend that was pushing up here broke. A lot of people expected this to be it, right? Break that low and we drop. Market decided that it had other plans. But interesting enough, as we're pushing up, we're channeling. See the channel that it's creating from then? So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching mostly today, is going to be that channel. So I'm going to change the color of this one just because I want to really know that that is that line. So I'm going to put like a teal or something. Just because that way, if it breaks this line here, guys, it's going to be a pretty nasty drop. So as of right now, the biggest thing that is going to be something I'm watching is going to be this line in here, right? Because as we pushed past, we failed to hold that high, which is what collapsed us, right? Came back down, couldn't hold this high, right, of that 360, which is what dropped us to the next level, which is right around that kind of 290 range. If we break that 290 range, then likelihood is that we're going to get to 213. We break 213, that's going to break the actual structure, and this thing is likely coming all the way down to here. It's going to be a pretty deep drop. So over time, right, it's a 1 hour. And so now when we break this prior high here, any type of reclaim of that is going to be met with a pretty violent move north, right? And so we want to really watch that level as we're playing today. So in the mentor group on the pre-market, we ended up taking mostly shorts. We were looking at the fact that this rising channel broke down. It's a bearish structure. We ended up holding this, channeled a bit. To me, this looked very measured move, and what I refer to as like a 3-tier drop, right? And so you have drop 1, it chops sideways. The low of that is drop 2, which is our target for the second leg, right? So market open can change everything. We'll find out in 5 minutes, right? But as this is down here, if we chop within, right, let's say we sweep this high, sweep this low, chop within, we're still vulnerable for one more leg drop. Now, a lot of times these 3-tier style drops, what they like to do is they like to drop, kind of chop a bit, drop again, and then it's going to chop again, and then the next drop is a big one, because the next drop is, if it's any less than what these two were, right, then that's going to show weakness and it'll try to come up. And then at that point, right, you can take your trend line like this. And if anything comes in here and breaks this, then that's an invalidation, right, or reversal from it. And those usually are pretty explosive. So, but as of right now, we're in a pretty deep pull. We made some really cool updates on NEO last night. We were up really late. And I like it, right? I'm so far really happy with it. It's taking, it makes him so where he's still very direct, and he's going to keep his mission, which is to keep you guys safe. But at the same time, he's going to always give you some kind of potential thing to look for, right? Not just be, at times right now, like if I were to ask him about a long right now, he would just tell you, no, like you're crazy, don't even look. And then I'd be like, but what if we bounce off support? And he would just be like, we don't want hypotheticals, right? Wait till you see structure, which he's not wrong, but I also wanted him to be willing or open to giving you ideas to look for a bounce, right? And so not very just shoot it down, right? And so I so far it's been pretty good. I like it, and so you can ask him now, and you're gonna notice a little difference on the detail of what he's telling. As we had this big pull here, what would I look for to take a long scalp? Because I'm not really comfortable taking this continuation.
Price is currently trading at 30,300.25, deep inside the 15 minutes bullish order block zone. 30,289.25 to 30,437.50. To take a long scalp, you must wait for a clean structural break and reclaim of the 1-minute Lisma at 30,384.00, accompanied by a shift to sustained buying volume. Do not attempt a long entry based on price simply touching this zone. You need to see a failed breakdown, where price probes lower, finds no sellers, and then sharply reverses with a higher low structure. If price fails to reclaim the 1-minute Lisma and continues to bleed lower, the long setup is invalidated and you should remain on the sidelines.
Let me try to bring this up a little. There you go, just to help TikTok be able to see the ticker better. So notice the difference, guys. So he was just, it's not like before it would be like we're below everything and you're crazy, right? So now it's like, hey, price is trading around that 300 range, but it is deep inside of a 15-minute bullish order block, right? He gave you that range of 289, which is pretty close. I might actually move this to his range just to keep it in line. So 289.25 is pretty close to what I had. So we'll just move that line for him. And so you can see, you know, that order block is all the way to 437, right? It's a pretty wide one, but it's a high time frame. So to take the long scalp, right, he's giving guidance of you may wait for the clean structural break and reclaim of the 1-minute Lisma at 384. So he doesn't really want any kind of long here, right, back up, which is not terrible advice, right? Because if you're trying to take a long within here, you're still going against a deep trend, right? At least if you get above there, right, you have a little more room to play, not get caught and trapped, right? And so that's kind of what he's supposed to be doing now. You know, is still keeping you safe, but giving you a little more idea or guidance of what to actually look for. So, which is pretty cool. So, but we got ding, 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 guys. Let's see what we get here. So we got the 15-second. Let me make sure I'm on my time frames. Yep. So far, nothing too crazy for market open. Hey Neo, market open just started for the US. What should I be looking for, or what do you see in the market going on?
The US Open has brought heavy volatility as expected, with MNQ currently testing support within the 30,292.75 to 30,314.50 bullish order block. While volume shows strong buy-side interest at 78.61%, the overall structure remains firmly bearish below the 1-minute Lisma at 30,377.25 and the VWAP at 30,505.50. With the ISM manufacturing PMI release approaching in less than 30 minutes, expect whipsaw price action.
Oh, I forgot about the PMI.
I recommend avoiding aggressive entries. If you do trade, keep your size small and your targets quick, as the market is likely to remain erratic leading into the news.
That's funny. I actually forgot about the PMI, so I love that we integrated him in there. He's not supposed to just tell you no, right? But he's going to keep reminding you, like, hey, might be some volatility to this. Be careful, right? Kind of thing. And so, let me look at something. Yeah, that should be pretty good. Okay. All right, so we're definitely getting, in my opinion, not as much volatility as I thought we would. But if you look at the open, guys, right at the open, we Ding, ding, ding. Swept up, swept down, right? The high couldn't break the high. The low couldn't break the low. This actually couldn't even barely break the halfway point. We got that, got the close above. That's pushing us north, right? So we're not looking very bearish as of right now, right? But what his concern is if you look at the overall structure, as we talked about before, right? These lows matter, like 414, 448. If we push up and with violence through that and through this, it's going to be just a nasty bullish day style push, right? Especially if we can break above this trend line, right? These highs. So let's watch and see. Very interested to see how this reacts to the 414 on the micro. Any kind of rejection there, right, is going to bring us back at least halfway, which should bring us back down into here. Also, guys, for NEO, those that are using him, we modified a few things on the intro. You'll notice when you first go into him, he's going to ask you, are you looking for longer plays, shorter scalps, possible, like, how far of a target are you looking for? So that way he can kind of customize your preference. We're working on, like, in the next day or so to kind of have things that he might prompt. You might hear him say things like, are you looking to scalp or longer plays? And you say scalp, and he might ask you, do you want me to save this preference, for future uses, right? And then that will trigger a key for, if you say yes, right, then he'll remember that forever, right? Is what we're working on. That way he can keep the experience more personalized, right, for you. And so, but let's watch and see what this wants to do here. Again, preferably, I would like to see, some kind of pull here, at least to retest these highs or this area here. If we lose this area of like 354 or so, it's going to come down pretty hard. So you can see we did have a trap block that formed here on the 1, which played out pretty nicely. I'm going to heavily watch these purple boxes as that goes. So, but we can ask them again. If it looks like the buyers are stalling out, can you give me what I would look for a long or short entry right now?
For a short entry, I would look for price to fail at the 1-minute trendline resistance at 30,387.25 and break back below the 1-minute Lisma at 30,369.75. If that happens, target the recent session low of 30,305.00, keeping your invalidation tight above the 30,387.25 trend line to protect against a liquidity sweep. For a long, I need to see a confirmed reclaim of the 1-minute Lisma at 30,369.75, followed by a sustained move above the 30,387.25 trend line. Given we are 25 minutes from the ISM manufacturing PMI, keep your position size reduced and prioritize quick exits to avoid getting caught in pre-news volatility.
So he's not bad, right? If you think about it, he does not want to short unless you got below this low, right, which would be your Lisma in there, and then you would target that liquidity there, which is good advice. And you can see it keeps you safe from taking it so far. For the long, he was talking about confirmed reclaim of the 369, which we already did on that, followed by the substantial move above 387, which would have been right there too. Yeah, so his long played out from within that, but let's see. Hey Neo, we're in market open for US, so the volatility is very fast. So when you give me answers, kind of give me the guidance of entries and targets as quick as possible. I want to see if he'll modify that.
Valid scalp long if price holds above 30,405.00 with continued buy pressure, targeting the 30,440.00 area. Invalidate this setup if price drops back below 30,390.00. For a scalp short, wait for a rejection of the 30,425.00 resistance level, targeting 30,380.00 with invalidation above 30,435.00. Keep size small with the PMI news approaching.
And so that's another thing I might add in, like personalization, right? Some people just want, is this trading with AI? Yeah, he's AI. This is NEO. Let me finish this thing that I'll show you. you know, some people, especially in the US, right, like open, I don't need all the educational part if you're more advanced, right? And so uh that's another prompt I might have him ask at some point, right? And so you can tell him, hey, just keep it short, sweet, to the point. Give me my values, right? And then he'll do that like he did there, right? But yeah, F6. This is our AI Neo. He is your coach, mentor, guide, trading assistant. He's gonna read the market, real time data, all that. So 17 in value. Canvas for a dragon. Oh man, I feel like I like to. I don't like to do this much on the market open, but let's see. You're gonna get ate up on my
I'm
sarcastic.
here to help you navigate the markets based on price action and structure, not to facilitate outside transactions, social media group memberships, or account transfers. If you want to focus on a specific chart, trade setup, or training topic, I'm ready. Otherwise, we're done here.
That was targeted for the sob. That's funny. All right, let's go back to let's put him on advanced for now. All right, let's put him on an institutional. Let's see if he's gonna chase some liquidity here. All right, Neo, how are we looking on the market? Let me know when there's any scalp potentials.
MNQ is attempting to establish a local floor, with current buy-side absorption evident as price maintains above the 1-minute EM a 200 of 30,441.25. However, overhead pressure remains significant given the distance to VWAP at 30,505.50 and the proximity of the US open high at 30,459.25. For a scalp long, monitor for a sustained break and hold above 30,459.25, targeting the 30,480.00 area with tight invalidation below 30,440.00. Given the pending ISM manufacturing PMI release in 21 minutes, favor reduced position sizing and prioritize quick profit taking to mitigate event risk.
And so I want to see too. That sounds good. I want to keep a short bias for the rest of this session until I tell you otherwise. So let's focus on short scalp or any concerns I might have that would impact that.
Maintaining a short bias is disciplined given the current market structure, as MNQ remains compressed beneath the VWAP of 30,465.50 and the 5 minutes EM a 200 at 30,471.50. You should monitor the 30,462.00 resistance as your primary entry zone. A rejection here offers a high probability setup for a scalp back toward the 30,400.00 level. The main concern is the 20-minute window leading into the ISM manufacturing PMI, which will likely induce erratic volatility and potential liquidity sweeps. If price aggressively reclaims the 30,470.00 area, the bearish thesis is neutralized and your short entry is invalidated.
Sounds good. What should I be looking for my next short scalp possibility? Just give me the entry, short and sweet.
A short scalp is valid upon a confirmed break and hold below 30,420.00, targeting 30,400.00. Use an invalidation at 30,430.00 and ensure you keep your size small given the high probability of liquidity sweeps leading into the PMI release.
Yeah, we'll get the PMI coming out here soon, guys. So as of right now, again, that 448 is critical, guys. Critical. So, because it's our lows, right, from our drop right there. If we can reclaim that and burst through here above that 504, it's going to be really, really nasty. Anything short of that, guys, it's going to reject, so. You got a head and shoulder here, played out. We have a push. I would expect a halfway liquidity back to about 380 to retest that high. can also, those that have been doing it right, you can wait for your trap boxes to as well. So as far as range goes, right, up here is where you would want ideally for a safer short as a rejection off of there, right? Because you have both the higher and the lower time frame support it. We would also put it up near these EMAs with the VWAP as well. Let's see if it wants to reclaim. Do you see any institutional levels we should be concerned about?
The most immediate institutional concern is the cluster of bullish liquidity residing in the 15 minutes order block zone between 30,289.25 and 30,437.50. This area is currently acting as a primary absorption zone. Institutional interest appears to be defending these levels, which complicates the bearish thesis. Be wary of price interacting with the VWAP at 30,464.00, as it remains a significant overhead obstacle that likely holds institutional sell orders. With ISM data 16 minutes away, expect these levels to be tested by high-frequency volume as the market seeks to induce positions before the volatility expansion.
Not too bad. I took some short scalps along the way. I'm out of everything now. I'm not going to take any more, I don't think, unless I see something really clear. So if I can get a pullback here, right, and a close below this level there, right, then I'm not opposed to taking another short little scalp back to the 200. But we do have the PMI coming up here pretty soon, so you got to be really careful, especially if you're on your prop firms. Let's see if we get this break. Does it look like the Bears or the Bulls are winning right now? Let's see what he says on the pressure.
The market is currently in a state of consolidation with no clear victor. While the immediate 1 minute and 5 minutes trends remain bearish, institutional flow is showing signs of defensive buy-side absorption near the 30,428.25 level. We are effectively range-bound between the 1-minute LISMA at 30,378.50 and the overhead EMA 200, suggesting market participants are waiting for the ISM manufacturing PMI to force a definitive breakout. Do not commit to a directional bias until the price clears this compression zone, as current price action is characterized by liquidity testing rather than conviction. Expect low conviction rotation until volatility expands closer to the 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time news event.
So looking at this structure, guys, we had a bearish structure here that tried to break this prior high, couldn't do it. We ended up coming back up, couldn't create the high, came back down, but we did create a higher low. This right here has to give expansion. Anything short of full expansion here, even if it breaks a little bit, if it loses that top, it's going to be a deep pull. Now we obviously have news coming up, right? So it could potentially change everything. So it's the moment of truth, right? So again, that higher low gives that expansion up. Where this lands is huge, guys, because it should give full expansion up to here. If it doesn't give full expansion up to here and it breaks down and loses this top right here, it's going to drop really hard for a low. It's interesting though, the U.S. Open for a Monday right now, it's been pretty quiet volume for the most part. See how it's starting to struggle here? If we break back below 46, that's going to create a pretty violent drop. So look for this high right here to hold. If this high holds with a hammer and a close above, right, that's going to give us our expansion. So let's see how this acts. There's that trap call. Perfect. So now that we have this trap with this absorption, right, we want to get a close below here, that 431, and that'll give us full expansion south. Because we got that high and the low. So let's see. Just want the market to respect a couple of market conditions, and then we know we're good. We'll be good to trade. Ooh, getting a double trap. Interesting. Just been taking some short scalps. This trap one right here played out pretty good, so it's a nice little short scalps. Anybody take this one? You guys can just throw a thumbs up if you're busy. Chuck did nice. Isn't this wild, guys? Those from the mentor group. Like this is, y'all. This is. If you guys aren't trading with this trap indicator, whew, that thing is making life so much easier. It's crazy how accurate that thing is. Insane. So now this is good, right? Because you got the trap, we played out, broke, got the close here. We're getting a pull into expansion. If we get a lower high here, right, then that would give you your break back. So it's starting to do the trap low. So if a trap low locks, right, I always like to see where is other stuff, right? So we have the 200 EMA here. We got the Lisma down here. So, you know, Lisma's at 385. We'll call it numbers here. And then 441, right? And so as it's pushing up, if I do get this trap here, but it's below some key levels, you want to be careful and make sure you don't take it till you break above those, right? If it identifies a chop area, right, with a trap here and a trap really close, then you just take it on the whichever one invalidates is the best way to play that. So, but remember, like I was telling you, y'all, the way this structure works, if this cannot bring a significant high and it loses this level, it gives a pretty deep pull, right? And so it really should pull to a lower low, somewhere down in here is usually what it will do. But it's a little tricky because we got 9 minutes. Oh, there's the lower low, right? So we got 9 minutes for news, right? So that could change. But yeah, there you go. I guess it wants to do what it's supposed to do after all. Like clockwork. Pretty cool though, huh? How that. I love when the mark. And again, guys, I love. Not every day is going to respect structure. It's just a fact in trading. And so the days that it begin to actually respect the structure, those are the ones you want to capitalize on. So we have 8 minutes before news. I would not recommend being in a trade. I'm out of all of my trades, so Not too bad. I'm not up anything crazy. I'm only up like 5 something on this one. But we did a lot of trading last night. Not a lot of trading, but we did some trading last night. It was actually a terrible Sunday session because it was just one directional. And so I don't really have to push real crazy Monday morning. So, but you can see that breakdown. Now this breakdown right here, anything that holds above 378 runs a risk of a full reclaim and another jump. If we break that 378, then it's going to give you a deep pull, right? We'll have a pretty good follow through. So we'll kind of watch that. Do you see any scalp opportunities coming up?
The market is currently exhibiting high sell-side conviction with a buy fraction of only 20.39%, and price is failing to hold above the 1-minute LISMA at 30,385.25. Given we are 7 minutes out from the ISM manufacturing PMI, any attempt at a scalp is high risk due to the potential for significant liquidity sweeps and wide spreads. I advise remaining on the sidelines to preserve capital, as the current compression under the 1-minute EMA 200 indicates the market is positioning for volatility expansion upon the news release. If you must trade, wait for a post-event structural confirmation rather than front-running the data.
Let's see. So again, guys, look at the structure. Pull, rejection on the prior lows, pull that creates expansion. The only concern I would have would be this prior high here, right? So if we get below there, that should be pretty deep. Let's see, we're getting the expansion. Now we do have the 1-minute LISMA here. So usually when you get that breach wick, at some point it likes to rear up a little bit. That rear up is going to tell us a lot. We got 5 minutes for the news, guys, so be careful. I'd love to see news pull it down into this range, and then on a pull up reclaim, right, we can take some scalps back up. But our macro right now, so to invalidate this block here, we need to get below like 284 or so. Mostly. Just looking at 446, yeah, 446 is pretty good resistance. 467. And there's not really any crazy support below us. Like 249 according to this. Alright. Guys, let's just hang out, wait. Don't push it. My advice to everybody is if you are trading and you are green on a Monday, the longer you are trading, the more green you are, the more patient and picky you should be about your trades. So I would recommend executing a little patience now. If you mute the noise, like I said, this is what I was telling you guys in open. Anything that stays below that 448, I would not take longs, right? Unless you get some expansion away and then a reclaim back to it, right? Because as of right now, from the larger structure standpoint, right, we had that kind of push, drop, sideways, drop, and we could not reclaim that upper. So if we can't reclaim that upper on a market open, it's going to come back down into this channel range, and then that could create expansion that way to the south. So, but we'll have to see how news reacts, right? Because the news is could change everything. How's everybody doing? You guys want to post any P&Ls you guys got? I'm just curious. I know many of you aren't swinging for the fence today. But if you guys got any P&Ls to share, do it. John doing good? Sweet.
I got E87 on a new eval.
Nice. So I'm curious, remember how he was pretty stubborn about asking for longs, right, in falls like this? So I'm curious to see what he says. Where would I look for a long scalp entry with this bearish price action? I want to see if he scorches me.
You are in a no trade zone due to the ISM Manufacturing PMI release in 1 minute. Any attempt to scalp long here is reckless, as the market will likely experience
This is great advice.
volatility that can invalidate any structure in seconds. Wait for the news-driven volatility to stabilize and for price to reclaim the 1-minute LISMA at 30,377.00. Do not force an entry into this price action until the market reveals its post-news direction.
Again, guys, he's not just a buy and sell signal, right? He's a coach, he's a mentor. He's gonna tell you, So if you're out here saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a long," he's gonna remind you it is a no trade zone. You got news in 1 minute, buddy. so we got the pull all the way back to our targeted liquidity that I was wanting. So now let's see what the news brings in 30 seconds, guys. Watch. Thanks. I almost forgot about the news. Let's see what he says.
The market is in a strict no-trade zone due to the ISM Manufacturing PMI release. Focus on observing the liquidity reaction and wait for price to establish a clear structural floor or ceiling before attempting any market participation.
All right, we got the drop. Doesn't seem like anything crazy yet. So for me, guys, this area here, like that 360 to 367, if we get any kind of push out of this block with a push up, wick close above, that would be your kind of scalp back north, right? We're mostly bearish on the day, right? And so you can see we were mostly shorting through here on the pre-market stuff, and then within here, and so we're pretty bearish on the day still, right? So taking any kind of longs might be a little risky right now, right? And so as he kind of pointed out as well, and so sometimes it's better just to let it roll up, right, and then capture that break back down. So, but again, those that got have NEO, make sure play with them, right? Because we did a little bit of updates last night on how you give some of the instruction, which so far I'm pretty happy with. We have a few more things that we're going to update later today or this evening where we might have found a way to have him forever remember some personal preferences, right? Like doing, what type of trading you're doing, long scalps, short scalps, whatever. So that way you don't have to remind him of that each time, when you come back. But keep in mind, as long as you're in session, meaning as long as I'm actively using him, he'll remember it the whole day. He won't lose any of that. So. Looks like the news already dropped. Do you see the news swaying the market one way or the other?
The data came in slightly positive or slightly higher than
The initial reaction to the news has pushed price into the 30,292.75 to 30,314.50 bullish order block, suggesting institutional participants are testing this support area for absorption. while the broader flow remains bearish as price is still beneath the 1-minute Lisma at 30,363.75 and the VWAP. The current sell side volume is starting to taper off. Wait for the dust to settle. Look for a definitive replaying of the 1-minute Lisma at 30,363.75 to confirm the bullish absorption is successful. If price fails to hold this floor and breaks below 30,290.00, expect a continuation of the bearish trend toward the next liquidity pockets.
I mean, it's not terrible advice. So he's saying, right, we want to close below here, which I kind of have it marked out as well. He's got it at 290, which is close mine. Then it's going to give you expansion to the south. A close above here, that 360 is what would give you the expansion to the north, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier. So we'll we'll watch and see how this pressure comes down here. Bum, bum, bum. Guys, those on TikTok, this is Neo, our AI. He's your coach, guide, mentor, signal caller, whatever you want to call him. You guys can check him out on the website, nextstepalgo.com. And we have a free trial going on, so if you want to get in and play with him, you can. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still watching this floor here. If we get any kind of push within. I'm kind of with him though, like even for me to take a long here, I would need to get a full reclaim of at least here. And then at that point, right, you're so close to this, I'm actually fine if this were to teeter a bit, pull this down a little more to give me some room to take it, right. Anything short of that, we're south. So let's see if we get that close below that 290, and then the expansion like he was referring to. I'm gonna check our other Neo. Let's see what he's doing.
Hello, I'm Neo. Let's capture the move.
His last one at 10 o'clock, he just basically was like, there's news. We're not doing anything. So, but he's doing another one, so let's see. I'm hoping the fix we did yesterday doesn't make him fearful of the news. Yeah, actually looks good. So you can see, I'll keep him muted, but his guidance gave the long, right? He wants an aggressive reclaim of the Lisma at 353, confirming the initial post-news liquidation. Has found support and corrected the bounce. The short would be a failure at the 335 resistance level, followed by a breakdown of 295, right? So he wants a rejection up here, followed through of a rejection down there. So at least he's given his targets, right? Remember, he wasn't doing that when he was ingesting news, but he's still putting his concerns that post-news volatility is still elevated. While the trend is bearish, the market is overextended, which may lead to a sharp, unpredictable whipsaw. And so, pretty cool that he isn't hounding on that news, because, man, he wouldn't let that go when we were trying to put him in there. All right. Andre at 570. Awesome, man. Troy, 215. Chuck, 258. Shane. Oh, man, I hate Sugar Shane. I'm calling you Ryan anyways. I remember I called you Shane for, I think, like a year. 411. Good job.
All good, buddy. All good.
So we got our 15-second trap block, and we're coming out of our 1-minute trap block. So I'm curious to see if we get enough pressure to push this through coming out of these blocks. And it was a pretty violent bounce right off that 290 area he was talking about. And so now we have a push, a halfway reclaim. We want to see that, from the hammer, get that full close above here, which should give us our expansion. If it does get a close above this, right, that 46, there's really not a lot stopping it, because that'll be above the Lisma, except for this here, which, what do we have that there for? I don't remember. Let's see. Oh, it was this this low area that jumped us. So yeah, 360 is pretty critical. So keep in mind too, guys, the play earlier was the drop over drop, right? Market open is going to create this up down volatility. If this is going to be a 3-tier over drop, it would stay in this range. So if we continue to reject here, it's likely going to go down for a pretty hard lower leg, right? But if we reclaim that 360, it's going to jump. So, and coming out of the box here, so far it's been pretty on point. Look at that, another jump. I know some of you probably took that scalp right out of the box. Those that are doing the tight TPs. Well, let's see if we did the 360 here. Get that break. Looks like we're pressuring that 1 minute Lisma. If we get a close above that, that's clean. Would that be a good long scalp setup?
I think we should stop on that north.
Nice. Isn't it crazy how, dude, this thing, I'm telling you guys, this is like, I think my new favorite setup.
A close and sustained hold
so
above
accurate.
the 1 minute Lisma at 30,374.75 provides a legitimate long scalp opportunity, as this would signal a structural rotation within the current bullish order block. Your target should be the immediate liquidity shelf at 30,387.25, with a protective stop placed beneath the recent session low of 30,295.00. Be advised that institutional buy-side pressure remains inconsistent. If the move above the Lisma lacks volume expansion, treat it as a potential trap and exit the position immediately. Do not overextend your risk until the market clearly demonstrates a sustained rejection of the previous bearish flow.
So he's given short targets, guys, because we're, I told him I was looking for 10-point moves earlier just to see, so it's within his range. That's why he, I was like, man, that's pretty tight. Would it be a fair assumption to say if we get this close, we can target the 200 EMA around 420 something? Wow, that does voice text that wrong. He seems to understand it though still, which is funny.
Assuming a successful reclaim of the 1 minute Lisma and trend line, your next structural objective is the 1 minute EMA 200 at 30,426.25. Reaching the EMA is a reasonable target for a scalp, provided volume sustains the upward move. Do not view this as a guaranteed move to the EMA. If momentum stalls or the buy fraction contracts significantly, take your profit and exit the position. Always manage risk by trailing your stop loss, as post-news volatility often results in sharp, two-way rotations.
Not wrong. So we have a push here. This pullback right now is a huge, right? Because you have the prior highs here. And so as this begins to pull back, if we get any kind of swift back bounce, right, it's going to come up for a deep higher high. If we lose this high somewhere in here, that's going to expand down for the lower low, and then we'll come through that block. It's kind of slow for a open, especially for a Monday. Usually Monday, man, they're pretty pretty good at sweeping those things. So we're above Lisma, 344. That's where it's kind of tapping on this micro. And we're holding above these prior highs here. So if we get any kind of push here, close above there would give us expansion, likely up to that 200. So anything on the micro that can close here, right above that 384, is going to pull us up to the 421. Anything that pushes up and then dojis, closes back below, is going to create a lower low. It's going to sweep it. Guys, if you have questions, let me know. I'm just kind of waiting to see how this range plays. So we're getting another possible trap back north. Let's see if it holds. So when we get these blocks, right, with these wicks sticking out, we need to close above them, right? We don't want to just jump in. We need that close to confirm that breakout is there. So got the dumb pressure like it wants to.
So with those two purple blocks right together, do you wait for it to get to the lower block since there's not a lot of space between?
Well, when I have these two that are, if they're both in the same direction, I just gauge off this block, right? Now I know there's a chance we could break through to get to this one, so maybe you take a defensive play, right, where you enter a little lower and play it back, or you could just stop out, right? If you break the low of this block, and then if it holds this block, right, you can come back in. That's how you can do it. Now the thing about this block that I like for now, right, is that we're holding Lisma. So if we get that close right above this high area here, there's not a lot stopping it for that quick scalp back up, right? So I'm waiting to see. I mean, so far it's playing out good, right? But I want to see how it treats this high within. But we got back over that 360. We are back over Lisma. But I would really like to get it over that 382, ideally. And so now this one's I actually used to hate when it did this, but I kind of like it now because you have a trap box here, you have a trap box here. One's up, one's south. Just showing indecision on the micro. Whichever one it closes above, it invalidates, right? And so if we get a close above this trap box, which is kind of where I wanted it, right, then we would be more long because this one is winning. If this happens to sweep down and close below this trap box, right, then it would come into that one, right? And so it almost kind of gives you like a high-low range to scalp in until it breaks. So it's kind of cool, actually, when it does that. I don't mind it as much anymore. This Lisma break usually jumps north, right? Right now we're just kind of compressing, but it's looking pretty weak to me. It's not looking very strong. But normally you get more of a northern push from this, but it's looking pretty weak. The market just seems to be holding this range. Do we see any potential opportunities coming up? See that push from Lisma? Now let's see if we absorb it back down, or do we take off?
Price is currently rotating within the 30,295.25 to 30,356.00 bullish order block, indicating that institutional participants are actively absorbing liquidity in this zone. We remain in a state of compression, and until price breaks the 1-minute trendline resistance at 30,379.25 or decisively closes below the 30,295.00 support floor, expect continued range-bound rotation. If you are looking for a scalp, wait for a confirmed volume-supported breakout of this range, as trading the interior of this zone carries high risk due to the potential for erratic news rebound traps. Exercise patience until clear structural expansion validates a high probability entry point.
So see how we had crazy volume that invalidated this one? We got that close. Now it's retracing to test these highs. If it can hold anywhere like here with a jump, it's going to expand pretty harsh, right? Up to the 200. If we lose this 360 range, then it's going to come down pretty hard. And so that's what I'm kind of watching on this retest here.
Nick, on the trap right there, the 789, there's a trap within a trap. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's got two. This one and this one. Apparently it's double sure. It's an interesting one. So we got the burst that we needed from Lisma. Right, now we got the halfway retracements trying to hold. A close above this area here should give some pretty decent volume, right? For a breakdown, for us to drop would be a rejection there, close below, and then that's going to come pretty hard. There's a rejection. There it is. Now this sweep, guys, that just happened is absolutely critical on where this lands. See how we swept it, but we remained a higher low. If this thing reverts back up and closes above there, it's going to explode north. If we come down and close below that 348, right, we're going to invalidate this box, and then we'll come back down south. Dun, dun, dun.
So which side of that concept are you pretty much waiting on?
What am I waiting on?
Yeah, what side of that concept?
So for me, right now, I mean, we could check with him to see on that, but I am still bearish until we can reclaim certain levels up here, right? We need to get these lows reclaimed, like 430, 453. I'm still more bearish. I think it's going to just be pushes up that will likely pull down, right? And so when you see these, I'm cool with taking little scalps on it, but I would prefer to see expansions, you know, retests, and then that confirmation, right? And that's like when he mentioned things like, you know, be sure to, you know, wait for the retest and confirmation, stuff like that. Like that's what he's mostly looking for. So now, keep in mind, earlier with the pre-market, I had told them, you know, if we get this break, because we're in that kind of 3-tier expansion to the south, I'm more short. And so if I'm more short, I'm not really interested in taking a long, right? Instead, I'll if I see these, I just want to see if it's going to work and play out, but I'll let it play out, and then you can take your shorts out of the next level of block, right? And so this is where, you know, the nice thing about this new strategy that I've been playing with is that it's a bunch of people have reached out saying that it's helped them with their discipline, right? Because they have to wait for something to play, right? To form. And so,
Sorry about that.
you're good. Yeah, and so right now, you know, all of these are suggesting more northern play, right, until they're invalidated, or we get you know, some kind of pull, to invalidate them, or a push and then get some kind of trap back down, right? And so anything in between that, you know, it's just noise. You gotta be careful.
Hey, Nick, are you getting part of that strategy in class on Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, this is really all I'm gonna trade for a little while I continue to test it. So I'm gonna you'll hear me talk about it in pre-market, post-market, Wednesday, Thursday. So.
I'm still fighting the flu, so I need to get as much rest as I could.
Yeah, man, you gotta take care of yourself. That's terrible. So we're coming up on that 200.
Oh, this thing can't even have a speaker.
You can't what? What did you say, Andrew?
Oh, I'm setting up a different computer. That's all.
Oh,
Sorry.
try the drop test. Pick it up, put your arms out, and see how well it bounces.
You called that trap zone on 5 minute into 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is, see the trap zone here we got in the 5, right? It's trying to break out, so if this body can get above this wick, 403, right? So if we get full expansion up to here, then that's gonna be pretty good. So for those that like the longer plays, right? These work out decent, but I look at this as like, okay, I want to be cautious that this is a zone people are gonna buy in, right? And so as I'm looking to take my trades on the 15-second, right, I want to be cautious where it puts the shorts, and if you're falling in line with this being your macro bias, long would be more the play, right? And so, but we're getting that push now, so it's testing up on these prior lows. So 430, 420, these are huge. So the next area of trap liquidity we have is all the way up here, which is our Asia low, right? 449. So I believe there was a big old gamma wall up there from what I was looking at too. I think it's like 468 I have. I don't know if you see that on yours, Johnny. I'm kind of playing with well, this one's on the state one that I'm looking at. Let's see. Let me look at the classic. Yeah, classic also has it. 469, 449.
Yeah, I've got them all marked.
Yeah.
So just for the bigger ones. So
Mm.
you're all about the same, yeah. You got 413, 475. What's that one? 552. And those two up the top, 649 and something, 630.
Yeah,
630.
this is how the classic on mine for the NDX NQ. And then the state kind of cleans it up a little. Look at this thing, like massive orders at that level, short compared to like everything else.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So 468 is like a damn wall, guys. If we get up there. Yeah, it's like a wall. I noticed the state one kind of filters a lot versus the classic. You get a little more detailed within.
Well, those dots indicate the pricing for the contracts.
Yeah.
So the curvature is basically where it's cheaper. So obviously, it's cheaper to transact in that area. So which pretty much dominates where they put their buy orders. So wherever it's cheap to buy, that's where they put their buy orders.
Yeah.
So, but as they get further away, it gets more expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys see we're rejecting off the 200 EMA. So a close below this prior high here, 382, will pull us back to Lisbon. I would expect probably a pull somewhere into here, and if it can hold this with a bounce, then it's going to come up to the liquidity here. But if we lose this area, guys, 360 or so, it's going to come down pretty violent. Like 350, 360, it'll come down pretty violent all the way back down.
Yeah, bookmap, I got 365.
Yeah. This is a big moment of truth area for me. Usually when you get a rejection off the 200 like this, it's going to pull back to that lower support or Lisma. We also have a push, so a halfway liquidity would be pretty close to here anyways, right? So any kind of micro support above this area, the earlier it finds support, the stronger the bulls are, right? So always keep that in mind when you're looking at it. need to see. Let me check this. Nothing. And I gotta reach out to Apex and ask them, like, whoa, so should I expect my live account in like September, or what's the plan? I feel like they're on the verge of trying to do something pretty cool, but they're just not rolling it out very well.
Do you see that they sent out an advertisement saying that they've got no more activation fees? And
Oh, yeah.
50 DAs for like $69 or $59 or something.
They have no choice, man, but to pivot their model. Their old model of let me make it super dirt ass cheap and everybody will just buy it is not working as it used to, and I think they're finally realizing that. So.
Yeah, because once you pass it, dude, I mean, that's great if you just plan on burning through a bunch of stuff and just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, but you still got to pay $100 to activate the damn thing.
Yes, I still don't have anything other than live trading explained. It doesn't say anything. And I'm screwed because I can't even buy anymore, even if I did like what they come out with. Yeah, because now they got me on going live. I can't do anything. Man, we definitely keep getting these trap blocks on the micro, which is interesting. Got an order block that just flipped bearish. Again, guys, overall, macro-wise, we're bearish, but... Hey, Neo, just checking in. How's the market looking? Are there any entry potentials coming up?
MNQ is showing a constructive replaying, with price trading above the 1-minute Lisma at 30,355.00 and pushing against the 1-minute trendline resistance at 30,384.00. This indicates a potential recovery move, but the bearish alignment of the 5 minutes and 15 minutes Lisma levels remains a significant overhead obstacle. For a long scalp, monitor for a sustained breakout and retest of the 30,384.00 trend line, targeting the 30,415.00 level. Avoid aggressive entries, as liquidity remains uneven and the market is still prone to rotational volatility following the ISM release.
The ISM release. So see the pullback, guys, I was expecting. It usually is going to retest these highs, and as it kind of pulls, we could still hold some support around that 360. So we want to see how the micro reacts as we jump into here. If we break this 360 level, we'll also break Lisma, and that's going to drop to this lower liquidity here. So that would be your better short play. If you're trying to place scalps within the channel, right, you know, just keep the TPs tight. But see, we got another trap long. Like it keeps. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy cow! But look at each time it's done it. If you take that tight TP play like we talked about, it's worked out. That's funny. So we're testing that 200 again. There's a bearish order block. It's interesting because we keep getting trap plays north, which play out for little micro scalps on the 15-second, but we're still getting occasional resistance blocks that populate.
So what's a blue trap block?
So they all have different meanings within. When you look at this, the number 794, the most important, you just look on the table. So it shows it's a short, weak. Could be. I'm not sure on the change of the color. I just know anything above here, right, is short, and down below is long. But Paul, do you know?
It's an MB market block.
Oh, okay.
That's not a trap.
Yeah. So it was red earlier. What flipped it to teal? Do you know? I don't remember what you did on that.
That was a different one. The red one is the gray one that's behind it.
Oh, right here. 792. Wait, 790. Yeah, 92.
I see a little gray one behind.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you though, those blocks, the market blocks that you put are good, but those traps are just nasty, man. They're so good. So we had a good little push there. So that's our push through. But look at the trap box just freaking playing out, insane. So cool. I don't know, guys. Like I said in the mentor group, I think we're on to something with this strategy. Little minor fine tuning, right, within the indicators, and as having that trap block on there, it hasn't really missed yet today.
The teal is actually a mitigation block.
Okay.
On our site, there's a description. If you click on it, you scroll down, it's got the zone color framework for people.
Yeah, and anybody, like for you, John, or anyone that's curious on that, I gotta figure out why there's something going on with my computer that just does not like to load these images very quickly anymore. I gotta look into that. But when you go into any indicator we have, right, it always has that how it works, and so we would just look for the trap and block engine, and then it's gonna tell you all that. There you go, zones, got it. Teal, yeah, mitigation style behavior, gray zones, invalidation, green bullish delivery, orange bearish delivery, verified guide, purple inducement or trap like behavior. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think this is definitely what I was looking for.
Good deal. Yeah, it's hard because Paul handles a lot of the creation of the indicators, right, as we kind of grow and build and learn new things, but the minor details of them, because we get so many variables that we're juggling right now, I kind of forget at times. So I revert back to Paul.
Yeah, and apologies if there's stupid questions. I've just learned if I don't know exactly what it is, best just to stay out until I do.
Yeah. No, I would like to. We're walking a fine line right now with Neo as we continue to evolve him. Right, he's getting better and better and better and better, and so we gotta watch how we feed him data and how much we feed him at any given point, right? And so, but I would love to feed him the how it works, so you can ask, like, while you're in TradeVision, hey, the trap and block engine, what's that purple box for? And he can say, right, the trap and block engine, purple boxes. And so we're trying to feed him data in stages so we don't overload his butt. It's kind of been the plan, but and so far so good. So maybe we'll explore that, like looking into adding those things. Guys, as this pushed up, see this? We're failing to hold this prior high as support. So this is a critical pullback. If this pullback comes back and closes below here, it's going to sweep this low pretty hard. So, because it failed to hold that structure. Just trying to find support as of now. Here, let's move him to sarcastic and see how the update impacted his sarcasm. Man, the market looks like a mess right now. Do you see any potential entries for the scalps?
Oh, how shocking. It's a mess because you're trying to scalp a market that has all the direction of a confused pigeon. You're hovering at 30,415.13, right under the 1-minute EM, a 200 at 30,416.50, which is basically the market daring you to try a long you'll regret. Unless you want to be a liquidity provider, wait for a clean break and hold above that 30,416.50 level to target the VWAP at 30,465.75, or watch it get rejected and dump back toward the support you're so fond of. Honestly, the smartest entry is the one you don't take while this thing is still trying to figure out if it wants to be a trend or a trash heap.
Or a trash heap. No, that sounds good. So if I were to look for a short, seeing that we're bearish macro, what would be an entry that I would look for?
If you're dead set on shorting while the market is still clinging to life, look for a rejection at the 1-minute EMA 200 resistance at 30,416.50.
Yep, right
You'll
here.
need a clean failure to hold above that level and a break back below the 30,400.00 floor to confirm the bears have
I'm
finally
gonna
regained
screenshot
control.
that.
Don't go short just because you feel like it. Wait for that EMA rejection to give you a structural reason to trade. If it rallies through that level instead, accept that the short is dead and quit trying to be smarter than the price action.
Yep, still got his sarcasm. The market's looking more confused or messier than a confused pigeon. He's still got his sarcasm. I'm screenshotting that because, again, we made a lot of updated things in the logic last night. Quite a bit of stuff. Great advice, even on sarcastic mode, right? But notice he said, look for a rejection off of this. You'll need a clean failure to hold above that level and break back below the 400. And so, I don't know. Like, I feel like I understand what he's saying because he wants to say, you know, you want to look for a failure to hold above it, which we did, right? But I'm curious on the interpretation. I want to look behind the scenes to make sure because he knows that, you know, resistance for the price is below and support above. So I think he said it fine, but I want to make sure it's not misinterpreted, right? But basically he wants a failure to hold this 200 with a clean break below. And so when we think about clean break below, right, we need to close below these prior wicks and Lisma as well, and then that would give us our deeper close below on that. So not bad. What I want to check, I'm going to leave them on sarcastic for a bit, guys. Let's share a couple of comments, questions, things like that if you have for him. I'm going to share a couple P&Ls. I'm just curious because before his sarcasm was hilarious, but he would still give some TA, but he was pretty ruthless with TA in between, right? And so now he's kind of still throwing his jabs, but a little more TA focus, which is good. Right, and so let's see. I'm just gonna cherry pick a couple of your guys' comments here in the chat. So Henry, you're my first victim here. Let's see what he says.
Well, aren't you a little ray of sunshine for actually catching a move instead of getting chopped up like everyone else? Congratulations on hitting your TP, Henry. Try not to let it go to your head, because the market is still just a chaotic mess waiting to trap the next genius who thinks the trend is now their best friend. Are you going to quit while you're ahead, or are you planning to give that profit right back to the market by overtrading this garbage?
Well, aren't you just a little ray of sunshine? I'll put in your other thing you put so he knows.
Wow, a trader who actually knows how to walk away while they're ahead. That's almost as rare as a profitable day in this market. Enjoy your walk, Henry. Try not to trip over your own ego on the way out.
Ouch. Yep, he hasn't lost his sarcasm. Put in a few profits, see what he says.
Oh, look at you, Andre. Actually making money instead of begging for tips. Don't go buying a yacht just yet. It's only $570, which might cover your coffee for the month if you're lucky. Are you going to be smart and call it a day, or are you about to hand it all back because you think you're a market genius now?
Guys, he's on sarcastic, so I'm testing with the latest code update. I want to make sure we didn't break our sarcasm parts, but let's see.
Congratulations on pocketing $215. Troy, I'm sure your broker is thrilled with the commission they just made off your big win. Now, are you going to retire on that or realize that the market is currently a range-bound nightmare and quit while you're technically ahead?
All right, Henry, I'm going to tell him that. Nice, plus 1,006, good job.
Oh, look at Henry, the big shot trader racking up $1,006 on a PA account and now thinking he's ready to juggle 2 evals at once. Don't let that 4-figure gain convince you the market is your personal piggy bank, because managing 2 evals simultaneously is the fastest way to turn that progress into a subscription fee for the prop firm. Are you going to trade them with some actual discipline, or are you just planning to lose twice as much twice as fast?
I'll put that in there, Andre, see what he says. He's unsarcastic, so we'll see, but...
Targeting liquidity at 30,467.25 when price is grinding at 30,419.31 and failing to reclaim the VWAP is a bold strategy for someone who supposedly just quit. You're currently fighting
Oh,
the 1 minute EMA 200
he confused you
resistance,
with,
so don't be surprised if
with
this
Henry.
turns into another lesson on why you should have actually walked away.
Alright, let's take him off that. Let's put him on uncensored and test it with the new one. Sounds good. It looks a little confused. We have 15-second trap blocks forming, but it's trying to fight this 200 EMA. What looks more probable, long or short, from the way the price action is looking?
The price action is absolute garbage right now. You've got the 1 minute EMA 200 holding as support at 30,416.25, but the VWAP is looming above like a brick wall you're trying to headbutt. Longs are a trap until you clear that VWAP, and shorts are a death sentence while you're sitting on top of the EMA 200. Stay out of this mess before you blow the profit you just made. Wait for a clean break of one of those levels or keep getting chopped up.
Okay. And like I've said on that, I like the uncensored because I was playing with the uncensored a little. I don't know if Cody, you're still here. I know you were liking the uncensored for a bit, but notice how the change seems to be taking that one pretty well, because he's still direct about calling something garbage, but he's still giving you good TA with it. Not just saying don't, you know?
Yeah, I like it. I like the change.
Yeah, I'm happy with it so far. Because that's the main thing I didn't care for in the uncensored at times, is he was... it was funny, but at times, you know, it's like, you're an idiot for going long. You're an idiot for going short. So what do I do? So now it's kind of like, price is garbage, but if you want to do this, this is what you want to look for. That's not too bad. So we have that trap north, trap south play going on again, if y'all see that. So a break of this high, right, it's going to push us up. Break of this low is going to push us down. So, Andre, I saw you were chasing that, or targeting that liquidity up there. So we'll probably likely try to get there. It looks like on the walls, right, it's kind of 450 to 469 seems the biggest liquidity pool, and then it's starting to build a little down here. You see that on the 250 area, 300. So I want to see if this continues to grow and build. But if we close below this trap area here, then it's going to pull back down to this lower. But we got the Lisma at 396. Anything that stays above here, just be careful, because we definitely can jump. We still have quite a bit of, like, our 5-minute trap block is all the way up here, but we'd have to get through a bunch of resistance to get up there. Let's see. So right now we're just ranging. We gotta see which way we're gonna break out here. What do we got? 10:45. Guys, I'm gonna watch this little consolidation here, and then mostly done trading on that. So is there any questions you guys got, or you guys want to share how the day went? Feedback on NEO. We are... I also want to extend that even further to... we're looking at molding a little bit of his core code to make it a little more personal even than he is now. And so If you have any specific preferences or requests or something you would like to see, be sure to let me know so I can make that that change. So, but with that, guys, what questions you guys got for me?
I was having a little trouble with NEO this morning. I don't know if there was an update. It was pre-market and I kept asking him some questions. He wouldn't respond. He did give me the welcome though. Was he being open?
So we pushed I don't know what time, because we were doing it since 7:30. Was it before then?
Yeah, it was about 8 o'clock.
Eastern?
Yeah.
Because we were using them in the pre-market. I didn't have any issues on it. Now, one thing I noticed, I have to check the backlog data to see, but obviously the more data he gets, the more instructional feed that he has, right? It's gonna potentially at times slow his response, and so that's part of what we're gonna look at today is what we added, how that's impacting that, and see if there's a way to optimize. But if you see, as long as this thing is flashing, right, he's just thinking. Just give him a second to sort out his thoughts, and then he'll respond back on that. But yeah, we were using him during the pre-market. I didn't have any issues. So we're getting that push right to that 448 liquidity we were talking about. It's kind of a clear chop, right? Little low sweep hunt push, right? Trying to give expansion. So if we pull back down into here, the 426, and we jump again, it's going to come all the way up into this liquidity block of that 468 target. Now, keep in mind, let me look and see. Yeah, the wall is still there, guys. So 470 is a pretty nasty wall. 452 as well. So let's see if we get a pull from that. Getting a little volatility. So that's that retest, right? We were talking about the push, the retest of the high. Any kind of loss of this is going to come down pretty hard. If it bounces here, because it's the push halfway, hold of the high, right, then it's going to jump to that liquidity. So we do have VWAP right there, so it's kind of likely trying to wrestle with that. Let's see if we lose this high. See the buyers trying to come in. They're trying to hold this high there because that's the only way they're going to get that full expansion. So we got a hammer. All right, close above there will give us some expansion. Close below here is going to give us some pull. Push back up into that block. We're also, our downtrend, guys, that we measured from this morning is right there. That's probably why they have that big wall around that 460, 470 likely. Pretty deep resistance zone too. We have a nice little channel here as well, so you can mark this from a structure standpoint, like this. Alright, as long as we stay above that, we're going up. We break below that, we're going down. There's the pull. It's crazy because that gamma wall liquidity was at that 450, the first big one, and that's like we just got like right to that and then rejected. It's pretty cool data. I'm enjoying it so far. Didn't even notice we had the 15-second trap here. Ooh, throwing a double. Guys, if you're interested in this indicator, man, this trap one we've been testing with this strategy is so freaking good. So good. See, we're getting the bounce right off that trend line. So we need a break below here to get that deep sweep south. Anything short of that, right, it's still pressuring. Try to go north. So it doesn't look like that wall budged. It still has it at 351 and 369. Somewhere there. They're building some above too. You see that? 353 or 553 and 650. Jeez.
I just blew my funded account.
How? We haven't even moved that much. What volume are you?
Was it 3 micros? It's bad entries, I guess. I don't know.
Were you short or long?
I was taking a short, but whenever I take a short, that son of a bitch shit blew right up. I got stopped out on that big green wick 5 minutes ago. Or that big green candle. And then I thought it was going to continue because we closed above the high from the week before. So I got into a long and then I turned around and went south, and that's what took me out finally.
I kind of second that too. I'm struggling with like where I'm placing my entries today. You know, because the only thing that's saving me is that I'm holding on to the trade long enough to where it puts me in profit.
Yeah, I mean it what you're targeting, are you doing the TP, are you trailing, or I mean right now long range plays are terrible because unless you got it back here, right, out of this block, then it's not bad because then you're holding this trend the whole way up, right?
I'm really trying to get point TP, but it's, as soon as I enter, it just goes the opposite direction and stops me out. So
One thing I'm considering trying, well, you stated it too, is like that pullback where it's that previous higher high, I think. And then if you see like a you know, a pullback or rejection, then it should like expand, you know, to the north from what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying.
Yeah, you know, over time for me, I've said a few times, I've always taken a better, when I'm doing scalping, I'm mostly looking for two things. Either A, you know, right now I'm mostly looking at these traps, trying to figure out where we are. Now we're getting a lot of southern plays, but we also have this one here that is more northern play. So when I start to see the southerns stacking over this one, you want to see a pull and a close below here, right? But you also want to look at the structure. So a pull and a close below there would put us below the 200 EMA, LISMA, the trend line, everything, right? And so a pull here and a close below there would give you your scalp back to there, right? Anything short of that, unless you're taking a defensive play or like a ladder type, like low volume, 1 M&Q, right, to give yourself room to wiggle, you kind of want it to come up into this box, right, and then play it back down to that box is kind of what you're looking at. But you know, you have to remember at the end of the day, right, we're trending more north. The liquidity we're playing with, right, is building more north, right? So it's looking like it wants to chase this upper liquidity before it decides to you know, kind of pull. But and that's where, you know, again with NEO, you know, be sure to test them out again today, because we did do a lot of pretty cool addition upgrades that I think so far have worked out pretty well. He's going to give you actual specific entries, right? So you can ask him, hey NEO, we look like we're stuck here. I'm looking to mostly go short to stay on the bearish bias. What would be an entry for a short scalp? Yeah, I'm gonna have Alex look.
Price
and
is hitting the
see
wall of
on
resistance in
that.
that 30,433.50 to 30,453.50 zone in the VWAP at 30,437.25, so stop trying to chase longs. Wait for a rejection here and a clean break back below the 1-minute EMA 200 at 30,417.50 to validate a short scalp. Keep your invalidation tight above 30,435.00, because if this thing reclaims that resistance, the bears are getting squeezed. Don't be an idiot and force the trade before the structure actually confirms the downside move.
Uncensored for you. So you can see his wall, right? 433 to 453. Don't chase the longs. Wait for the rejection off of the 1-minute EMA. So we want this kind of rejection reclaim to the south. He's saying at 417, basically, would be that. And then you would invalidate it above 435, which would be there. Which is not bad, right? Because if we get below this 200, if it gets above the 200 and the VWAP, you might want to stop out anyways, right? And so, now again, guys, if you're out here just trying to pass something and you don't want to have, a little fun with it or kind of that firm hand, right? Just put him on institutional or advanced. He's going to give you a better play, right? So, and you don't have to be real detailed the way we're doing these instructions. You can just say, are there any scalp opportunities short? And then he'll tell you, just keep it blunt.
Valid scalp short. Price is currently testing resistance near the 30,433.50 level and failing to hold above the VWAP at 30,437.25. Enter short on a confirmed rejection of the 30,433.50 zone, targeting the 30,400.00 area. Use a tight invalidation above the 30,440.00 level to protect against a potential breakout.
See, so if you want him to just give you that raw data, right, you want to be on something like advanced, institutional, even professional, right? Professional is going to be straight short, like to the point. So do you see the bulls coming in? It looks like they're trying to break through here.
The market is showing a strong buy fraction of 71.83%, confirming that buyers are indeed attempting to reclaim the 1-minute EMA 200 at 30,417.75. If price sustains above this level and clears the VWAP at 30,436.75, it would validate a higher probability long scalp. Watch for the VWAP to act as a pivot. A failure to break and hold above it will likely result in a rejection back toward the recent lows. Prioritize execution only after the breakout is confirmed to avoid being caught in a liquidity trap.
Yeah. And also, guys, so the 448 again is critical. That's why I'm watching that really heavily, because that is our prior high area, prior low area before the push, right? And so it's a key level for me. And so if we can't break that with sustained volume and hold it, it's going to come back pretty violent. So now if we get above, because we have a trend line just above that 456, we get above that, right, then we're going to have that push again, like I said, to that upper liquidity area. Let's just see how it keeps treating this 448 area. Guys, it's 11 o'clock. I am going to jump off here soon. Looks like most in the chat did pretty well on that. Yeah, bullish chop is annoying, Andre. I know. I'm the same. That's how we did that last night in Sunday Asia, man. We opened up and it did that whole like push, drop, push, drop, push, drop, like, but it just like it wanted to stay bullish, right? As a scalper, I prefer, just respect some structure, right? Like you hear me call it a lot, where I'll say, we had an expansion here, but it was pretty weak because it didn't get high enough. So if we lose this doji close below, it's going to break down, right? And a lot of times that breakdown does create that lower low. So we ended up finding support because we also had a push halfway liquidity reclaim and then attempt again. But see how this is failing like this, guys? If this fails this halfway level right here, it's going to sweep really hard. And so for me, especially when I'm scalping, I want to see the market do stuff it's supposed to do. That's all I look for. Just do what you're supposed to do. Go up, go down, I don't care. Just give me some structure that makes sense. Man, it's raining out here, and it sounds like somebody's pressure washing my house. It's like hitting the sides, so it's like I'm getting a free pressure wash. Oh, but yeah, I'm gonna what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna take probably a little. Well, shoot, actually, I forgot. I gotta leave here by 12. We can stick around a little bit longer. I'll stick around until about 11:30, and then we'll just call that. We'll call it there. So let's see if we get anything presented. Again, I don't trust this bullish push because let me mute this stuff again. Right now, man, all we are is drop over drop, and then we're up, down, up. That's all we are, right? So the expectation is still bearish to go down. It's. I mean, you have a literal trend line right there, right? Which is likely what I did with that line there. And so until we break that trend line, guys, we're not bullish. And so you got to be really careful. Right now we're just in a deep, deep, deep ranging day, which is a great day to keep that volume low and just kind of catch those ranges, which is mostly what I've been doing. I'm up 460, 340, and 250. So what is that? 6, 7, 1,000. Nothing crazy today. I've only been doing one and two MNQ scalps. So we got the 1 minute trap. If that gets that close below that 200 right here, that's going to give you that deep expansion. So. But we did get the 1 minute trap, and look at that. I'm telling you, that trap indicator is so good. Even if you don't get the full expansion right because of the 200, just to see that pressure kick in is so cool. So we're getting some deep absorption though, guys. See that? A sweep to the low of the trap area, push up, close above here is going to spring us. So let's see. If we fail on this sweep, if we push up and we fail to create a higher high right here and it sweeps back down, then that's going to dump us.
What are you looking for? A close above the 447?
What are you looking for, long or short?
Or long.
I can ask Neo, but I'm not looking for a long at all. But if I'm gonna take a long, it's gonna be way above here, like 460, 470, because not only from again, remember I mentioned we're in this downtrend, right? And 448 is critical. So even if I get above 448, I still have a downtrend to deal with, right? Now if I can break the downtrend and this ORB, I'm pretty clear to that liquidity up here, right? But if you look at the orders that are building, they're pretty strong walls, man, at 450 something and 470. And so that's why for me, I would rather, even if this pushes up, I'd rather just let it push up and then I'll look for the pull. But I've gotten most of my scalps done, so I'm gonna stop on this here. Alright, so we just got expansion up on the trend push here. You can ask him, what would I be looking for as far as entry and target for a long scalp?
With price trading above the VWAP at 30,436.75 and exhibiting strong buy-side momentum, a scalp long is valid. Look for a clean breakout and hold above the resistance zone of 30,433.50 to 30,453.50. targeting the recent session high of 30,467.25. Maintain an invalidation level just below the 1-minute EMA 200 at 30,419.00 to protect your position against a potential failure to hold the breakout. Ensure you scale out profit as price approaches the 30,460.00 area to manage risk effectively in this volatile environment.
We're getting that push into the trend line here. See that rejection right off the trend line here? So that's why I was saying even if we get above that 448, it's kind of risky, right? Because we get that deep rejection off this trend line, might pull it back pretty harsh. So we got this trap here. Got a double trap. Man. There it goes. See that rejection right there off the trend line? Now this rejection was expected, but where this lands is huge, right? Because all we are is push, halfway liquidity reclaim before here. The fact it lost this high, and if it can lose this low here, which I would say somewhere in here, like 430, that would give it that lower low that would come, right? But if it bounces anywhere where we are, right, with some kind of violence, then the buyers are in pretty strong. So, but keep in mind, this is that 5-minute bearish trend line that we're hitting. So this is why I'm more looking for those short scalps. Looks like we're rejecting off of that downward trend line that I have now. What would be a short scalp look at entry?
A short scalp is valid upon a confirmed rejection of the current resistance zone at 30,433.50 to 30,453.50, provided price fails to sustain above the VWAP at 30,436.75. Your entry would be on a 1-minute close back below the VWAP, targeting the 30,415.00 support area, with invalidation set above the 30,455.00 level.
Sounds good. Based on what you see in the market, should my bias be long or short right now? See the pull? If this breaks this low in here, guys, it's gonna come deep. So this is the next area that you'd want to watch, somewhere around 414.
Given the current sell side volume and price struggling to reclaim the VWAP at 30,436.75, your bias should remain short. The market is attempting to test the underside of the resistance zone, but the lack of follow-through suggests that institutional participants are looking to reject the move, favoring a continuation of the bearish structure.
And that's the thing, Mike, when you're using them, because I know you have the access to use them, you know, make sure this new update we did, he's going to be more open to giving suggestions like that. And so if you're not sure if you want to go long, short, whatever, you can ask him that, right? Like, you know, what bias do you suggest, right? And he's going to tell you based on whatever, right? And then you can expand into it if you want of, you know, if I have a bias short, what am I looking for, right? Like, what do I need to see? And he's going to tell you. And that's what I'm going to test over the next few days. is his bias, right? If he tells me a bias short, I want to stay bias short. If he tells me bias long, I'm going to stay bias long, right? And then just ask him, what do I need to take those shorts? Because I'll tell you, most people tend to get wrecked when you're out here trying to capture every move, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. At some point, you're going to get caught. So it's better to stay one side of the coin, right? And then just ask him for his advice on that setup for the short.
Agreed. At least the bias will kind of keep you somewhat generally safe.
Yeah, and it forces you to be patient is mostly what it does, right? It's going to force you to be patient. You have no choice, which is good. And so if I'm going to have a bias short, what would be a potential entry I would look for? See this 200 bounce we're getting?
Yeah, it has a strong bounce up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just trying to hold this range here.
This whole morning it's been like a lot of buying pressure.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, Ticket ain't easy. Funny, I like your name. They mentioned on a private account you can hedge. Yeah, on a personal account you can. Real money. Right. But a lot of people, especially most that are newer, right, don't know how to hedge properly, and so you end up digging yourself a deeper hole. So, but yeah, prop firms you can, but real money you can. Let's see how it tests this high again, guys. For a short scalp, what would I look for?
A short scalp is viable if price fails to clear the resistance zone at 30,433.50 to 30,453.50 and shows a sustained rejection back below the VWAP at 30,436.75. I would look for an entry once price confirms a lower high below the VWAP, targeting the 30,415.00 level with an invalidation stop positioned above the 30,455.00 resistance.
If I can get a close below the 200 1-minute EMA, would that give me a longer target play or safer entry? Just want to see what he thinks on it.
A close below the 1-minute EM 200 at 30,420.50 would signify a potential exhaustion of the current bullish momentum, validating an entry for a short position. You can target the 30,400.00 level as an initial objective for a longer scalp, provided the selling volume sustains the break. Ensure you maintain a stop loss above the current resistance zone at 30,453.50 to manage risk effectively. Do not enter prematurely. Wait for the candle to close and confirm the loss of support, as buying pressure remains active at 80.58%.
Yeah, so he's telling you the buyers are still there. Again, this is a critical level, guys. A lot of resistance within here. Any kind of breakdown again, right? It's going to come down pretty harsh again, but we are breaking or attempting to break out of that downtrend, right? Any kind of full break above here is going to give you that expansion up to there. So, but we got a lot of resistance to break through from here. So let's see. Yeah, the next big wall I got is like 472, and then they're placing a bunch of orders up at almost more than they had before at 552. They're starting to build some orders down at like 300 and 249, but majority of that wall is above. Let's see if we pull back here. first test into that 470 wall. We're getting that push. So you can see we had our pretty strong trend, kind of consolidated. Now we tried to break south, couldn't break that low. Now we're coming back up, right? And so now it's going to try to chase this upper liquidity up here. Now, anything that rejects below this high right here is going to give you weakness, right? And so this candle's big. See how it had that little push? If this push comes into expansion, it's going to drop all the way back down here. Because that, remember, 470 was the largest gamma wall.
Well, you know what's weird, Nick?
See
you
right
look
here?
at Apple's down, Tesla's down 3%, Meta's down 3%. Like all the big seven are like so
They're down,
red.
they're all down.
I don't know what's pumping it right now, but I don't see it going. How can it go higher with the big seven like down over 3%?
Right.
You gotta really watch these unless they make a recovery.
It's all that they're squeezing everybody out and building up orders for all the hype of the SpaceX release.
Yeah, maybe the target hunters are popping in now.
Yeah, it's that IPO. So we ended up coming back. We got our gap fill here. Now it's pressuring. This right here, the way we lost this prior high, should have pulled us deeper than that, and it didn't. So we ended up pushing back. If this fails to go a higher high than that, and we come back through and clear that level, then that's going to be real high probability to go back to that liquidity here. But yeah, the pressure is still trying. I'm interested to see, because I'm studying this kind of gamma wall thing. But it's got a pretty nasty wall at 30,470, which is where we just rejected. So if we break that, there's not a lot really to like 550 really. But let's see how this holds.
There's another one at 500. So you'll probably find that it'll bounce. So what it does is if we get over that 469, I've got it as, but if we get over it, we'll probably come up to 502 and bounce around.
Yeah, my 500 on this one's got it about there, so it's there for sure, but it's not nearly as strong as these other ones.
Yeah, we haven't got enough volume today. It's just chugging.
Look at this 550 range. Like this thing just keeps extending like crazy. Like they're building orders up there like freaking nuts.
Yeah. If you look at the dots on it, it'll tell you when they place the order as well. So 10 minutes prior to open.
Yeah.
So most of them are, like some of them are 30 minutes prior and everything else. But yeah, it sort of gives you an idea of when they place that order. So
yeah, to kind of see. We're getting expansion up into here. So we're getting the next order block there. 500 is a trap area, plus it's that gamma block too as well. We'll see how it reacts on that. So the fact we broke through that 470, it's kind of fun to watch. I was looking at it because you can see as it's breaking through, like the line's kind of shrinking, like it's eating up all those orders. Interesting.
So that previous higher high, right? If price pulls back and it like come back to that level, like around like 34.70, is that like a good like entry like area?
Again, I was gonna say again, yeah, long or short. So for me, right, if I see a push like this, I like pullbacks. If I want to go long, I want to see a pullback, probably back into to retest this trend line here, like 450 or so, and then an expansion reclaim of something like the RB or whatever. Then you can do it, right, to scalp that liquidity up. But sometimes depending on what your bias is, right, it's like if I want to be more biased short, I would want to see it come up into this block and then get a breakdown, because I know there's a lot of room for that, right? And that's the thing is, you know, you can be long or short most days and still be right. You just have to be patient to get to the area to be right.
Yeah, so I'm trying to avoid like placing a buy at the momentum of the uptrend. You know.
Yeah.
I don't place a buy and then like pulls back and then I'm like, nah, I'm fighting the trade.
Yeah.
What I've been doing.
Well, and that's why even Neo's kind of advised that, but I noticed lately, like this one would have played out fine, but most of the time lately, these like close expansion plays haven't worked out all the time, right? Get you caught. So that's why, like, if your goal is to be long, right, you want to see expansion, retest, confirm, you know, hold. That way, it's a actual confirmation of that retest. You know, and then where that holds is huge. If it's halfway or greater, right, then it shows you the strength. But if my bias is more short, right, then you want to see like what we're seeing here, right? You kind of want that trend south, the push up, and then look for the weakness to play it back down, right?
So I'm seeing like two higher highs, right, on the 15-second. Is the most recent higher high like the weaker entry than the one that we initially talked about, like around like 34.7?
And I'm not sure if this is exactly what you were looking on, but what I do look at things like if I have this high here, right? When this push came, how high did it get above it? Like I am looking at that because it shows me strength, right? Then we pulled back into an area that really should have just floored us, and it didn't. We reclaimed it. So that's when we got this break here. We got that extra expansion. This high here to that high there is longer than this high here to this high there, which is showing more strength on the buy side, right, versus the bears. So for us to really break back down, we want to come back and reclaim that low, the 469, right, or this prior high, I mean, and then that would give us our flip, right? But yeah, the moves on the expansions that it does definitely matter. They definitely matter. But guys, it's 11:25. I do gotta go soon. I gotta take care of a few things. But yeah, play with Neo, guys. I love the updates that we did last night. It was a very late night, but I'm glad that they're working out well. We have a couple more things we want to kind of true up probably later this evening. So, you know, just the focus right now we're doing is not as much on his trading logic because that's already there and it's doing well. It's more how do we make them more personalized, right? Have them ask, you know, certain questions. You know, remember your personal preferences, right? So that way you can every time you load in, right, he knows kind of what you're looking for, right? Unless you ask him to change it. So, but kind of excited for that. I think it's gonna be an awesome addition once we kind of finalize on that. And then we're still working on the kind of modifying the start here to incorporate Neo, and then we're also working on the watch list. The watch list one is going to be really, really sick, guys. Guys, we do, even though we have this block here, this is still a resistance block. So anything that pulls here, if we can breach this Lisma or ORB with any kind of strength, it's likely going to shatter through. But this is also a trend break, right? So for us to come retest this is normal, right? And if you look at from here, a push, halfway pull would be like right there. So I would not be shocked if we don't get a pull to retest that. And if we hold this with the jump, that would be your long scalp north, right? But if we lose this, then it's going to invalidate all that, and we're dropping. It was a trap for sure. But yeah, so I'm gonna